Kal Yahawashi Yahawashi Ba'ashem Rakakadash, all praise, honor, and glory goes to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His Son Yahawashi. Just lifting up the holy name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi above all things in the universe, heavens and earth. And just wanted to come with this quick reminder, quick reminder of, our, as you see the title, dedicated service to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Because in these times of moving closer and closer to that day where things are going to be, just in your face, highlighted, so obvious that, such things as like the MOTB, such things as like the micro C-hip, war on the horizon, famine, famine of the word. More and more things are starting to reveal themselves as being obvious of how it's going to go. Family turning on you, those that you thought were in the truth decide not to be in the truth anymore. Those that are pushing false doctrines, those that are holding on to false hope. These things are becoming more and more clear that those that are seeking, the Father in truth and sincerity and keeping sound doctrine are the true men of the Lord. And that's who you want to be following more and more and more as these times go on. Now I'm speaking from experience, just because of the things that I'm facing. And the only thing that's really been keeping me above water, keeping my head up, is Yahawashi Yahawashi and the men of the Lord that are going through the same type of things and bringing out the same messages that the Spirit has placed on my heart. Now, the great part about it is they've already done the legwork. The Father and Yahawashi have already done the legwork with the men of Great Millstone, and with their consistency and their persistent of bringing out truth and sincerity. And so it was just easy for me just to hop on board with what the Spirit was telling me and understand that it's really just Him. It's Yahawashi. So I wanted to go to two scriptures, and I just wanted to, kind of help myself out and hopefully encourage someone out there to be edified. It's I'm gonna go to Romans 12:1. It says, "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice." Because once you realize that you're getting this mercy to receive this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding at a level that you're receiving it at, and that it's lining up to what the scriptures say, you got to know that that you're being used as a sacrifice. You're not being used for your own ways anymore. You're used as a sacrifice. Yeah, you're going to go through the fleshly part of this life, and you're going to have these different desires and temptations, because we built this up over the years of us being in the world. Now, those that have been in the truth longer, of course, they're not probably going to have as many of those temptations. But those that are waking up now and accepting the true doctrine, some of those things are still going to be on us. It says, "Wholly acceptable unto Yahweh," so you got to remember that you're separate though now. It says, "Which is your reasonable service," and that's our reasonable service. I wanted to look up that word reasonable. The apostles and elders of Great Millstone always say this. Have taught us to look up words so we can kind of understand these things. The Old Testament is translated from the Hebrew, and the New Testament was translated from the Greek and Latin. This particular word is a Greek word, and it's G3050 in the Strong, and it's logikos, and it says pertaining to speech or speaking, pertaining to the reason of logic. So your speaking needs to be lined up with Yahawashi Yahawashi. Your logic, your mind needs to be lined up with them. Spiritual, pertaining to the soul. Your soul has to be lined up with the Father and His Son Yahawashi. Agreeable to reason, following reason, reasonable logic. And you got to be able to figure things out through logic. If you go over to The root word of that is G3056, and it's a word that everybody knows. It's logos, and it says a speech, a word, the sayings of Yahweh, a decree, a mandate. So it goes on to prophecy given by the prophets, all the things that we have to be focused in these last days. Continuous speaking, discourse, instruction, taking instruction, giving instruction, uh, matter under discretion, reason, the mental faculty of thinking, meditating. You see, it's all these different things that are spiritual that when it says we're reasonable, when we're supposed to be experiencing, and the root word of that is G3004, which is legal. And it says to speak, to say, affirm, attain, to teach, exhort, advise, command, point out with words, intend, mean, to say. Call by name, to call name, to speak out, speak of mention. So you see, it's all the different aspects of this walk that we have is your reasonable service to Yahawashi Yahawashi. Go to verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewal of your mind. If you're still conformed to the world, let's look up that word conform so we can get a better understanding. So when we read this, we're not saying that we're out of the world yet because we know we're still in here. Yahweh shall pray for that for all his disciples and followers. But if you go to conform, this in the Greek G9464, and there's a Greek, and the word is sus kematizo. Sus kematizo. And it says to conform oneself to another's pattern. So even though we're in the world, we're not going to go after the patterns of the world. We're not going to be, I had to ask a vice question about the job about working now, about, holidays and things. Because before, in the truth, I was working pretty much from home. I had to get back into the world and work and go on a plantation formally. I was on a plantation, I was on the rule, of course, but when I was working from home, but just to get out there physically and, got some advice from my brother, and he gave me some great advice and helped me understand, that, hey, as long as we're not bowing down, as long as we're not conforming to the ways of this world, we're okay, because we're in this Babylon. But if you go over to the root word of that, it's sin, which is with. That's the first part. The second part is G4976, which is schema, and it says the habituous, comprising everything in a person which strikes the senses, the figure bearing, discourse, actions, manner. So your actions, your manner, your habits are going to be of the world if you're conforming to the world. If you go over to the root word of that, is G2192, which is the word echo. Echo, and says to have, to hold, to have, own, possess, external things such as pertaining to property, used to those joined to anyone. So you're going to be joined in this world still if you're still conforming to this world. And we know as the men of the Lord, those of the hopeful elect, that's going to be far from our brain. We're not going to want to be joined. We're going to despise this world. We're going to, pretty much hate the plantations we got to go to. We're going to hate the people that conform to this world and love this world, even if it's of your own family, even if it's your own children at times. You're going to, despise those things. And, I'm finding myself doing that more and more and more as I'm getting deeper and deeper into the truth. Despising people who say that they are Israelites and their doctrine doesn't match up to the sound doctrine of the scriptures, and you want to defend it more, and you want to, get out and preach the word more and call out, what, Yahweh Shem Yahweh places in your heart through the Rakah Kadash. Go back. It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that's the renewing of your mind. You're going to start to think more and more like Yahawashi, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh, because only Yahweh is good, only he's perfect, only he's acceptable. And when he allowed Yahawashi to come back 2,000 years ago, he gave Yahawashi that fullness as well. So those are the only two that we can look to when it comes to good and acceptable and perfect will, meaning direction, meaning meaning the way to go, So we're thankful that we have the gift of the Rakah Kadash to help us out with that, So so that we can connect with that. Yeah, we always got to remember in our natural selves, we're not sovereign. We're not there yet. In verse 3, and I'll get to the next scripture, it says, "For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you." So this is grace that's helping us deal with these things of the world, not being conformed to them, transforming our mind daily by staying in these scriptures and staying in, meditation, staying in, getting instruction, giving instruction, being adamant about it, being, straightforward about it. It says not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but we still don't let ourselves get too haughty. We don't let ourselves get too high because we know it's not us that's working. It's through the Spirit. So though we sound, sometimes, I just heard this before. We can sound prideful because of how we're coming across, but it's not the pride that's really in it. It's just the confirmation that we have that we know what we're saying is true, you know, and that's what I'm feeling more and more and more from the people that are in my life that, may not have accepted it that way completely as of yet, or maybe they're not designed to. And that's from the people that I know that are older all the way to, the children, So it's starting to show more and more and more that the prophets really are the prophets. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because everything they're saying is coming to play, and it's a great feeling if you lined up with it. I don't know what else to really say. It's a magical feeling. And it says, "But to think soberly according to Yahweh have dealt to every man the measure of faith." So the measure of faith that you have is going to determine how good you feel about this truth. You know, if you're hearing these things come out, these prophecies come out, you're hearing all these things that they've been talking about for years starting to happen, and you getting joy and you find like, wow, and you speaking it too, and then yeah, that means that your measure of faith may be a little bit higher than the next person who hears it and they be like, wow, they don't know what to do. They get worried, they get concerned, they still worry about the things in the world. They're still getting caught up with tripped over little things, you know. I mean, it's always good. Like I said, I got advice the other day, but it's always good to get advice. I'm an advocate of that. I wish I had, because of my situation, I'm not able to go to camp as I want to. I wish I had more brothers, and I came in. I'm coming in late too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like been around for no 20 years. I just start following, the GNS exclusively maybe for like a year now. So I'm not like, and I can't even really come to camp. So I got to go with the teachings of the videos more, and getting maybe like I said, advice maybe via email or stuff like that. But it's just great. It's a great feeling to know when what the Spirit has you on. It's already been preached, and it's already been out there through the man of the Lord. It's like a great. I mean, I don't know how else to really say it. It's the best thing ever. If you go over to the book of Matthew 10 and 27, I'm going to read this one in NLT. It says, "What I tell you now in the darkness, shout abroad when daybreak comes. What I whisper in your ear, shout from the housetops for all to hear." And that's where, a lot, a lot of us are starting to, to reveal that these teachings, these words are coming from a higher source than us, and it's starting to, manifest itself more and more and more that it is, Yahawashi Yahawashi working through the men of the Lord, because of the things that are happening, because of the things they've been saying for the last, maybe 40, almost 60 years, these things are actually happening. Go to verse 28, it says, "Don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only Yahweh, who can destroy both soul, body, and hell." And that's going to be the attitude. And that's really the point I wanted to get to. That's going to be the attitude. You're not going to be afraid of the consequences anymore. You're going to live your life that you have to live on this earth in this transitory, taking care of yourself, making sure that, taking care of your responsibilities that you're given, But you're not going to be afraid to cut things off, people off. You're not going to be afraid to speak the word, even if you're threatened with your life, because our head is up for the chopping block every day anyway. You're not going to be afraid of Esau anymore. Brother in Dallas, the elder in Dallas, he always says that. He's like, man, we don't need you anymore. That's what it is. They just mad because we don't need them anymore. We really don't. We don't care what Esau says. Whatever. Okay, whatever. And that's how it is these days. And you go to verse 29, it says, what is the price of 2 sparrows, 1 copper coin? But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. We understand these things. We understand that, hey, we're not controlled by the ways of this world anymore. We have to deal with the world, but we're not concerned about what Esau's saying anymore. At the time, that was the biggest thing. Ooh, what the Esau, but now it's not even like that anymore. Everybody's starting to know that he's the wicked. It says, and the very hairs on your head are all numbered, so don't be afraid. You are more valuable to Yahweh than a whole flock of sparrows. And that's, what I wanted to touch on. We see the value in its truth. We know that, though he can raise up stones and raise up rocks to replace any one of us at all on this earth, we know that there's a value in this truth. And I try to say it like that without saying that we're valuable, because like I said, we're still trying to we're still the hopeful elect, right? But if the Lord says it, then you got to kind of accept it, Without accepting that value, then you're going to think that you're useless. And that's the worst thing to think in this truth. And I want to look at that word valuable so that we can get a better understanding. He says, are more valuable, G31308, and I'll be done after this. It says, to bear or carry through any place, to carry different ways, to carry in different directions, to different places. It says, a people who are carried hither and thither in a ship, driven to and fro, to differ, to test, to prove the good things that differ, to distinguish between good and evil, lawful and unlawful, to approve things that excel, to differ from one, to excel, surpass one. And personally, it makes it a difference of matters of importance. So that's what the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahawashi are saying about his elect, that they're more valuable, that they can decide what's good and what's evil, that they can make a difference between things, that they're the important ones. They're the ones that are the ones going to be bringing out this truth the way that he wants them to bring it out. If you look at the root word, dia, that's the beginning part, is through, the ground or reason by which something is done or not done. And if you go to the second part, is G5342. It's pharaoh, and the meaning of that word is to carry some burden. So we have this burden, because we're carrying this burden of this truth. And when I'm saying burden, I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm saying that we have this on our back. We know what and who we're coming from. It says, of Hamashiach, the preserver of the universe. And I love when it talks about Yahawashi being the head of the universe, heavens and earth, because I know we can get the concept of him being over the heavens and earth. But what about the universe? That means everywhere. Anywhere you go, it's Yahweh Shem Yahawashi. And that's a great mindset if you're aligned to it. So just wanted to give off a couple scriptures. Hopefully it's encouraging to someone out there. Hope it edifies and builds someone up. But with that, just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to all the apostles, elders, teachers, preachers, priests, bishops that came before me that taught me this truth, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who were taught by their apostles and elders. And shalom, peace be to you, to his holy elect. Till next time, Yahweh willing.